Imagine, one day you turn around and a loved one, a friend, a neighbor has simply vanished, leaving no trace behind. Just like that, they're gone, swallowed up by the vast, unforgiving world. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? Unsettling, to say the least. This isn't the stuff of fiction or a plotline of a thrilling whodunit. This is the stark reality that we live in. Every year, hundreds of thousands of people go missing without a trace. They're there one moment, and the next, they're gone, leaving nothing but a void filled with questions. A void that echoes with the haunting silence of their absence. Each disappearance is a puzzle, a baffling enigma that often remains unsolved. These are not just numbers on a report or a blip on a radar, they're real people with lives, dreams, and families. Each one leaves behind a trail of heartbroken loved ones grappling with the agony of not knowing. The uncertainty is a heavy shroud, a constant reminder of the person who has simply vanished. These disappearances, as mysterious as they are a part of our world, a part of our collective narrative that we cannot ignore. We've all heard stories, read news reports, or watched documentaries about people who just disappeared. It's a topic that has intrigued, perplexed, and terrified us for centuries. But why? What makes these cases so enigmatic and terrifying? Is it the sheer unpredictability, the inability to find answers? Or is it the thought that it could happen to anyone at any time? In the next few minutes, we delve into the enigmatic world of missing people and explore some of these inexplicable cases. We'll pull back the curtain on the unknown, shed light on the forgotten, and try to make sense of the unexplained. As we journey together through these tales of missing individuals, remember, every story is a piece in the larger puzzle of human disappearances. Every case, a haunting reminder of the unending mystery that surrounds us. But for now, let's step into the unknown and start unveiling the enigma of missing people. In the annals of missing persons, there are those who are forgotten, their stories fading into the mist of time. As we delve deeper into the annals of the missing, we stumble upon tales that have been lost to the sands of time. One such story is that of the colony of Roanoke, where an entire settlement vanished into thin air in the late 16th century. Despite extensive searches, not a single trace was found of the 117 settlers. Their fate remains a haunting question mark, a chilling testament to the unexplained. Our journey through the forgotten then takes us to the eerie disappearance of Amelia Earhart, the pioneering aviator who broke countless records. In 1937, Earhart set off on a daring round-the-world flight only to vanish without a trace over the Pacific Ocean. Despite decades of investigation and speculation, her disappearance remains one of aviation's most enduring mysteries. Then there is the unsettling case of the Sodder children, who vanished from their burning home on Christmas Eve, 1945. 5 of the 9 Sodder children were believed to have perished in the fire, but no remains were ever found. Their parents, driven by a belief that their children were still alive, spent the rest of their lives searching for answers. The mystery of what happened to the Sodder children still lingers, casting a long and eerie shadow. These stories are but a few of the many that have faded from the public memory, their mysteries unsolved, their narratives incomplete. They remind us that disappearance is not just a loss of life, but also a loss of story, a void that leaves behind more questions than answers. As we journey through these forgotten tales, we are left with an unsettling realization. These are not merely stories of individuals who vanished, but of entire lives, entire histories that have been erased, leaving behind nothing but an echoing silence. As we move forward, we find that the mystery only deepens. Then, there are those cases that defy any logical explanation, sending chills down our spines. Let's delve into the labyrinth of the unexplained, the enigmatic stories of those who vanished without a trace. These cases aren't just baffling, they're downright eerie, defying reason and logic, leaving us with more questions than answers. Consider the story of the seasoned hiker who embarked on a familiar trail, only to never return. The search parties found no trace of him, no belongings, no footprints. It was as though he'd walked into thin air. How could someone disappear from a well-trodden path, known like the back of his hand? Then there's the case of a woman who vanished from her locked apartment. With no signs of forced entry, all her belongings untouched, she was simply gone. The authorities were left scratching their heads. This wasn't an ordinary disappearance, it seemed as though she had been plucked out of existence. And what about the child who disappeared while playing in his front yard? One moment he was there, the next he was gone. The neighborhood was searched, the woods combed, but to no avail. The boy had vanished, leaving no evidence, no clues, no answers. These stories are chilling not just because these people disappeared, but because of the inexplicable circumstances under which they vanished. There were no suspects, no motives, no leads. It was as if they had been erased from the world, leaving only their memories behind. There's something inherently terrifying about the unknown. We fear what we can't understand, what we can't explain. And these cases, they fall right into that realm. They challenge our understanding of the world, of what's possible and what's not. These are the stories that push the boundaries of our comprehension. They make us question our own reality, our own safety. They linger in our minds, haunting our thoughts, stirring our deepest fears. These are the cases that keep us awake at night, questioning the very nature of our reality. And then, there are those who disappear in the shadow of notoriety. The underbelly of society, where crime lurks and danger is as commonplace as breathing, has been a backdrop for many a disappearance. Here, the lines blur between the innocent and the guilty, the hunter and the hunted, the lost and the found. Take for instance the case of the businessman who vanished without a trace. A man who lived his life in the limelight with a reputation that was as much about his success as it was about the whispers of his dubious dealings. One day he steps out for a meeting and poof, he's gone. No sign of struggle, no ransom note, nothing. His disappearance remains a mystery, wrapped in rumors of criminal affiliations and shady deals. Then, there's the tale of the runaway teenager. A rebellious soul, known to dabble in the wrong crowd, she was last seen at a notorious neighborhood. Her parents' desperate pleas for her return echoed through media channels, but to no avail. Some say she chose to disappear, lured by the thrill of the underworld. Others believe she fell victim to the very danger she courted. And who can forget the chilling saga of the journalist who dared to expose the underbelly of organized crime? He was a beacon of truth in a world shrouded in darkness, his articles a thorn in the side of the powerful. Then one day, he simply vanished. His disappearance sparked outrage, fear, and speculation. Was he silenced by the very people he sought to expose? We may never know. Each of these stories is tinged with the unmistakable hue of notoriety. Each person disappeared, leaving behind a trail of questions and a void that can never truly be filled. Their stories are a chilling testament to the dark corners of our world, where danger lurks, and the price of crossing paths with notoriety can be unimaginably high. These stories remind us that sometimes the world is more sinister than we'd like to believe. Amidst the despair there are stories of hope, stories of those who refuse to be forgotten. In the shadowy corners of human disappearances there exist tales of resilience and reunion that resonate with an unyielding spirit. These are the stories of the unforgotten. Consider the case of J.C. Dugard, snatched at the tender age of 11. Her family and friends refused to let her memory fade. They held vigils, distributed flyers, and kept her name in the public eye. 18 years later, their dedication paid off when J.C. was found alive. Her return was more than a miracle. It was a testament to the power of hope and unyielding determination. Then, there was the story of Carlina White, abducted as a newborn from a New York hospital. Despite the passing years, her parents never ceased their search. 23 years later, their prayers were answered. Carlina, suspecting her own identity, initiated a search that led her back to her biological parents. This incredible reunion was a result of Carlina's instinctive pull towards her roots and her parents' relentless quest for their lost daughter. In the chilling narrative of human disappearances, these stories stand out as beacons of hope. They underscore the importance of perseverance, the strength of familial bonds, and the profound impact of community support. They also serve as a reminder of the crucial role of law enforcement and the media in keeping these cases alive, helping turn the tide in favor of the missing and their families. These stories, though punctuated by years of heartache and uncertainty, conclude with an overwhelming sense of joy and relief. The unforgotten are those who, despite the odds, found their way back home, their stories echoing with the triumph of hope over despair. And so, as we delve into the mysteries of the missing, let's not forget these tales of hope and reunion. They serve as a powerful reminder that sometimes the lost do find their way back. These stories remind us not to lose hope, even in the face of the greatest odds. But what about those who disappear without anyone noticing? This is a question that begs our attention, our empathy, and our understanding. We're delving into those cases that often go unnoticed, the cases of missing homeless individuals or those without a family. These are the individuals whose absence doesn't cause a media stir. Their names do not make it to the headlines and their faces don't appear on milk cartons or billboards. These are the people who slip through the cracks of society, seemingly vanishing into thin air. Their disappearance is silent, unnoticed, and often unsolved, leaving a void that's filled with unanswered questions and unresolved mysteries. These are the individuals who may not have a home to go missing from, or a family to report their absence. Their stories are no less important, their lives no less significant, yet they remain the unseen. But why does this happen? Why do these cases remain overlooked? The reality is that our society is structured in a way that often fails to account for those on the fringes. It's a harsh truth, a bitter pill to swallow, but it's an issue that we need to confront. For those who are homeless or without family, their lives are already fraught with challenges. When they go missing, the lack of immediate reporting, the absence of a concerned family member pushing for answers, and the general lack of societal attention all contribute to their cases being neglected, their stories remaining untold. This is a call for greater awareness and empathy. It's a plea to remember that every individual matters, regardless of their societal status or their living conditions. It's a reminder that every missing person case is important, that every disappearance is a tragedy. Their stories need to be heard, their disappearances need to be investigated, they need to be remembered. They are not just the missing, they are the unseen, the forgotten souls, whose stories need to be told. We must ensure that they are not forgotten, that they are seen, and that their stories are told. These are the unseen, the forgotten souls whose stories need to be told. As we delve into the world of the missing, we are left with more questions than answers. We've traversed the obscure realms of the unknown, the forgotten, the unexplained, the notorious, the unforgotten, and the unseen. Each of these realms is a chilling testament to the enigma of human disappearances, a somber reminder of the tragic stories behind those who simply vanished without a trace. The unknown is vast and terrifying, filled with stories of individuals who stepped out of their homes, only to be swallowed by the void of obscurity. The forgotten are those whose names and faces have faded from public memory, yet their absence continues to resonate in the hearts of those they left behind. We dove into the unexplained, where logic and reason falter in the face of inexplicable circumstances. People who disappeared from locked rooms, from moving vehicles, from crowded places, leaving no trace, no clue, no answers. The Notorious reminded us of the dark side of humanity, of the nefarious individuals and groups responsible for some of the most infamous disappearances in history. In the realm of the unforgotten, we've seen the relentless pursuit for answers, the tireless efforts of families and investigators who refuse to let these stories be buried by time. And the unseen, those who disappeared in plain sight, their absences unnoticed until it was too late. Yet, after delving into these chilling narratives, we're still left grappling with the unanswered. The questions that linger in the wake of these disappearances, the pain of not knowing, the torment of uncertainty. Every missing person leaves behind a void, an echo of their existence that reverberates in the lives of those they've left behind. In the end, the world of the missing is a world of shadows and echoes, a world that reminds us of the fragility of our existence and the mysteries that remain unsolved.